Hi everybody, welcome back to the Wonder of Anime podcast. I am your host, Lisa. I am a multimedia content creator and my work spans across my blog, my YouTube channel, and of course, this podcast. I'm so happy to be back bringing you guys another episode of the podcast. I thought this episode would come out sooner. I know y'all did too, but April has been crazy. April has been kicking my butt real bad. Like JJK levels, Black Flash, domain extension, kicking my butt. From my family being sick and then me being sick, back-to-back ear infections, sinus infections, strep, you name it, I've had it this month. And then I finally got better and my real full-time job got crazy. So we've been through some things, but we're here and we are going to talk about manga and anime this episode. I have a manga that I wanted to talk about and do a little quick review on, and it was a cute little read, so we're going to get into that, and then we are going to catch up on some of the seasonal anime. Now, we are not catching up on all the seasonal anime that I started in the previous episode, and that's just because I have not had a chance to catch up on every single anime, because since I've been down bad, real bad, I haven't been watching TV. I literally, the only thing I could do was like read. So behind on that, but we're going to talk about the few anime that I did watch because I did catch up on some. And, you know, we are just going to get into it. Before all that, I did want to say that I did see the Sailor Moon Super Live show. That was amazing. That was incredible. You will be having a bonus episode on your feeds on YouTube sometime in the near future, possibly this week, possibly next week, with a special guest. So that bonus episode will be out. I'll be talking all about the Sailor Moon live show experience because I loved it. It was incredible. As a lifelong Moonie, like, it was a dream come true to watch that live and just experience everything with it. So I'm real excited to talk about that, but I really want to do it on its own bonus episode with a special guest. Y'all can probably already guess who, but I ain't gonna say it yet. So we will get into that. As always, anything that I'm going to be talking about, I will be putting timestamps in the description of the podcast episode, so you can skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled on anything. Now, the manga review that I will be talking about, I'm going to be trying to be as spoiler free as possible because, of course, if you want to check it out, you're going to want to do that. So let's get started there. On this week's episode, I wanted to talk about a manga that I had the pleasure of reading thanks to NetGalley and Viz for allowing me to have an early reader copy. Digitally, I always love getting ARCs because I love reading. So I love reading anything. I'm willing to give anything a try. And I usually do a blog post about manga or a YouTube video, but this specific manga, I just feel like I didn't have enough to do like a full blog post on without maybe highlighting some points that other people have said. So I'm like, why not just throw it in the podcast? So that is what I'm doing. So the manga that I've read is called A Star Brighter Than the Sun. It was volume 1 and it's by Kazune Kawahara. And in it is about a girl named Sei, and she's always been really tall, really strong, and she's kind of just always stood out in her school journey. In childhood, she had a friend named Koki, and he used to be really small and really like weak, weaker than all the other boys. So they kind of were just stuck together, the odd pairing. But then they kind of went separate ways, I believe, for middle school, and now have been reunited for high school. And Sei is still very, very tall. And Koki all of a sudden grew up mad strong, mad tall. Now they have reunited in high school, and Sei realizes that she has feelings for Koki, and she's not the only one. She makes some friends who also seemingly, have a crush on him too, until she reveals her crush. And we know that, through word of mouth that Koki is interested in someone, but we don't know who. although we can kind of take a guess that it is most likely Sei. So I read this probably a month or so ago. When you get an arc, sometimes you have a long time to have access to it. I'm pretty sure I had like 60 days. I think I read it in like 2 sittings. I don't know. I was like reading it and I don't think I finished the first time, but then I went back and finished it. And I also learned that this has been greenlit to be an anime, and I believe, oh, there's already a trailer. Oh, it's going to air in October 2025. So with this story, I thought it was very cute. I thought it was very adorable. This first volume, I'll be honest, didn't really feel like a lot different than a lot of stories out there in terms of like shoujo, in terms of like high school crush and like romances and stuff like that. Somebody kind of being different. The height thing is definitely new. I can't remember the last tall MC, if it was Risa from Lovely Complex, but that was a little bit new. But other than that, it just didn't feel that different to me. That's not to say that it wasn't enjoyable. I did like it, and I am rooting for Sei and Koki, but initially, like, I just wasn't moved as much as I thought I would be. But again, this is just volume 1. I think it was like 4 or 5 chapters. I am very excited that it is going to be animated. I think this will do amazing as an anime just because the characters look so different. And I will say, Sei, although she is a little bit like shy, I would guess, I feel like she's head on confronting her feelings. You know, she does tell the other girl like, oh, I also, you know, I do like Koki myself. And I feel like she's not so much as like a passive lead where, you know, things are just kind of happening around her and she's like, oh, well, me. Like, no, it looks like she's going to take action. It just kind of didn't feel different for me from this first volume. I will continue reading and seeing if more happens, you know, in the next coming volumes. I feel like there must be something exciting and different to the fact that this got greenlit into an anime. But either way, I'm here for it. I'm always here for love stories. I'm always here for high school romance. I'm always here for more shoujo. So I'm excited that this story has been licensed and that it has, you know, that will be continuing. Just for me, it moved me in the way that I'm like, wow, like I need to like tell everybody about this, go and read it. But it still was a good read and I would recommend it. And I'm excited for the anime to come out. Now, you guys know I have a not strict, sometimes, you know, it's not strict. Anime, you know, watch the anime and then read the manga. So I do want to read more of the manga to see like what else happens if it picks up a little bit. But then I'm like, the anime's coming in like end of the year. So I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, I'll come back and I'll say what I do. But again, that is A Star Brighter Than the Sun. And that has been licensed by Viz. And you can get that both digitally and you can also get it physically. That was the manga portion of the podcast. I probably will be doing more of these if I have like any reviews that kind of don't fit anywhere else where I want them to go, especially because I have a lot of arcs on my to-do list to discuss. But that was it for now. And we're going to get into the anime reviews. So you guys know I'm always having a note. I have a bunch of notebooks actually, and I have my notes for what I was watching, because one thing about me, I like writing it down, because if I don't write it down, I'm not going to remember it. And you know, what is that? So like I mentioned in the beginning, I have not had the opportunity to catch up on everything that I have been wanting to watch. So I'm only going to be talking about today Windbreaker, Vigilantes, Witch Watch, and then like episode 2 of Rock is a Lady's Modesty, because I definitely did not get to catch up on the other episodes. So we're going to get into it, and we're going to start with Rock is a Lady's Modesty because I had seen episode 2. And from my previous review, I only reviewed episode 1. So just based off episode 2, I have to say that I'm really enjoying the development in this show, and I am very curious to see like how Lalisa is going to get close to Kurogane, because she is not happy. Lalisa is really, really annoyed at Kurogane that she keeps wanting to jam out with her and have this jam session with her. And we see that at the conclusion of the episode where she just snaps at her and she's like, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm leaving Rock behind. And Kurogane is like, I don't care about being a lady. I don't care about modesty. Like, this isn't about any of that. Like, this is about me jamming, me playing the drums. And when I'm playing the drums, like, nothing else matters but that. And I find it so far, like, this Lalisa character, she's very interesting to me because she's so angry. Like, she is furious that Kurogane will not leave her alone. And it's not just like a mild annoyance, like specifically at Kurogane. Like, you can just tell that she has a lot on her plate with her, I'm assuming, assumptions, these are just assumptions. You know, the guitar guy was her dad. He probably passed away. Her mom remarried, and her mom remarries this rich guy, and all of a sudden now she is to leave her past kind of like behind, and she is to be like this lady, like for the protection of the family name and the image, and that infuriates her. And we also see like she is really, 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 really trying so hard, and she is doing this for her mom. And we get a little bit of the background with her practicing, I believe is the violin or a classical musical instrument, with her new stepsister. And her stepsister is like amazing, and Lalisa is not. And the teacher's like, girl, what you doing? Like, you're trash. And Lalisa's stepsister obviously is upset and is not like a fan of her and really doesn't like the situation. And Lalisa's kind of like defeated. So we can tell, like, in the interactions that she's having with Kurogane, like, she's pissed. Like, leave me the hell alone. Like, I'm trying so hard to be a lady of modesty, and here you go trying to ruin that for me. So that to me, and the fact that this, like, I'm literally just talking about episode 2. Like, we kind of got all of this in episode 2, of course, with the back knowledge of episode 1. There's still episode 3 and 4 that I haven't watched. So all of that and what is like to come is exciting to me. And I think there's so much here to uncover. And, you know, we see obviously through like the opening and the ending, like there's other characters, band members that are going to come through. So I'm excited to see how they play out. But so far, like, man, these episodes are having such an emotional punch. And it's funny to me because a lot of the things, like the background knowledge with Lalisa, like, we're picking that up, you know, like those things aren't explicitly said. Like, we're getting little clips here and there, her interactions with her mom, her interactions with the stepsister. So I'm very excited to see where that goes. The next anime, I'm like, oh, there's so many. I only have a couple, but I had so many thoughts about everything. The next anime we're going to talk about is Windbreaker. So at the end of episode 1, you know, they're fighting Keel. Things aren't looking good. Sakura is getting, you know, he's not in usually the shape that he's in. Episode 2 comes in. The upperclassmen come, finish off the fight. Everyone's reinvigorated. And then you have, I think that's how it ends. And then episode 3 kind of gives the background of the student, the guy's friend who was a part of Keel, that they're there to save him. And we see that he like basically got like roped into Keel. Like, the guy was like, hey, show up here, and then was like, hey, we're gonna fucking beat your ass, and now you're a part of Keel. Like, he didn't even go willingly. He kind of was like kidnapped to be a Keel member. And then so that was episode 3, and then it ends with them like all going out to eat to celebrate, basically, after, you know, they talk to Ume-chan, and then the episode ends. And Sakura is obviously like, he's upset. He's upset because he feels like he let everyone down. He felt like he was battling, his body didn't move. And then Ume-chan is like, oh, actually, that's because you care about your friends. And you weren't able to move your body because you actually like them and have feelings for them. That's not in a romantic way, but like, you know, like, you're caring about other people. And Sakura's like, hell no, this has never happened to me before. And it's like groundbreaking. And then we have episode 4, which Sakura gets sick. His classmates come and, you know, they give him the medicine, and he basically learns, like, wow, other people care about me, and I care about other people. And I don't know how to process my emotions surrounding that. I'm telling you, Windbreaker is so funny to me because I'm so into it, even though I'm not into, like, fighting. And it's because of these, like, life lessons that are just, like, so universal, and you don't have to, you know, be in high school or fighting to kind of, like, go through things like this. So, you know, the themes obviously that we have are, like, relying on others, you know, building community and caring about other people. And Sakura has been so used to being alone, rejected, bullied based on his appearance. Everybody thinks he's weird. Everybody thinks he's a freak. Obviously, he's gone through a lot in his past that we don't know all the details to. And he is, you know, handling it the best way he knows how, which is shutting down, being by himself, thinking that, like, things will pass, like him being sick. He's like, I'm just going to sleep it off. Like, this is going to pass. And he is really afraid of rejection. He's afraid of these new friends that he's made seeing through him. And spoiler alert, he doesn't know that they've already saw through him. And he's afraid they're going to reject him if he's not the strong person that he portrays. And I think, speaking specifically about episode 4, like the culmination of all this, which was really beautiful to see. And I really appreciated when So and Nire go and visit him. And So immediately, like, scopes the situation and was like, okay, he lives by himself, this shitty ass apartment. Things look really bad. Clearly, he doesn't have a family member. He doesn't have family. He's a student living alone in these bad conditions. Like, there's a lot going on here. And then when he takes Nire to leave and they're talking outside, and Nire's like, we gotta do something. Like, we gotta help. And the analogy that So makes that was so good, it's like, what good is the help if you don't know how to use the help? It's not going to feel like help. It's going to feel like hindrance. And that's the thing with Sakura. He hasn't had friends. He hasn't had community. So them offering help and offering community to him is more of a burden because he's not used to that. He doesn't know how to handle when people care about him. And he's so on guard and so used to rejection that he doesn't believe that it's genuine. And that, I thought, was such a beautiful lesson to display. Because personally, like, I can speak for myself. Like, I've been that, like, strong friend. I've been that friend that everybody goes to with problems. And I'm the therapist friend. I'm the friend offering solutions. And then I had moments, this is in the past, this is not me now. Now I ask for help. But I had moments in the past where I would go through stuff and I would keep it bottled in and I didn't ask anybody for help because I'm like, well, I have this image of the strong friend that everybody relies on me. And if I let them know that I need help, like, then they're not going to feel confident coming to me and relying on me when they need help. And, you know, just kind of like these thoughts, I feel like, and this was in my 20s, you know, I'm 30 now. I'm in my 30s now, but you know, this is thoughts I had 5-6 years ago when I was in my 20s. So these are thoughts that people have, like, especially when you play certain roles in your relationships and you don't want the roles changing or you're afraid of people looking at you differently because you need help. So I just thought this episode was beautifully done. And then, you know, Sakura having the conversation, I can't remember his name, with the upperclassmen, you know, on the rooftop and asking for help and saying, like, hey, like, how do I get through this hurdle? I thought it was such a growth, like, and wow, 4 episodes, we've had so much growth already in the second season, and I love to see it. And this is why I, like, love Windbreaker so much, because it's like, yes, it's these kids fighting, but it's not about the fights. It's about them and community and friendship, and it's just so beautiful to see. And I cannot wait for more episodes and the new characters that we're going to get introduced to. So Windbreakers, another amazing episode run. Next up is Witch Watch. So listen, y'all, I love Witch Watch. I told y'all I was apprehensive because men. But it's been so fun to watch Witch Watch. I think it gets funnier. Every episode gets funnier. The gags are hilarious. The one that immediately comes to mind is the one from episode 3 where Nico can make clothes that she see in photos, but because photos only show the front of the outfit, the back of the outfit is transparent. When I tell you, that had me in tears. The one thing I love about the show is the narrator whenever it comes to spells, and he'd be like bursting the bubble. Like, this spell works like this, but the downside is this bad thing's gonna happen. And you're just like, oh my god, like, why is this so funny? I just think the gags are so well done. And I love a story that, like, has serious moments, but, like, also doesn't take itself too seriously. Witch Watch, every single episode, I am laughing out loud. I think it is hilarious. And I just am like, okay, what next? And I think something that really makes Witch Watch so funny and so special is that they talk about other anime and reference, like, in episode 2, the Hunter x Hunter references, and the teacher's like this big otaku, and she's like, oh my god, like, this reminds me of this in Hunter x Hunter. And then, you know, when they're flying and they're like, this person's pretending they're in Dragon Ball Z. And just, I'm like, first of all, how are you guys referencing all of the, I mean, I guess it's not, like, copyrighted, but I think it's funny that they just literally reference all of these. Oh, I thought about the other one that was really funny in episode 4, where God is talking about the elder and his family hating ogres, and he's like, he just read Demon Slayer. Like, the character was an ogre. Bro, when I tell you I was in shambles, and they're like, nah, he's just reading Demon Slayer. It was so funny to me. But yeah, it's just getting better and better. This last episode too, with the new introduction of the new character, the new familiar Khan, who's a Tengu, was especially endearing to me because you guys know I'm super into, like, anime and manga that talk a lot about the folklore of Japan and, like, different spirits and stuff. So I'm very familiar with the Tengu. They have played major roles in, like, Holic, Kami-sama Kiss. What was the other one? Oh, the Demon Prince of Emoji House. So I always feel, this is a little nerd in me, but, like, when I'm watching anime and, like, they're talking about the Tengu, and I'm like, I know the Tengu, like, they always have this relationship in the spiritual realm with these other beings, and it's just so fun. So Witch Watch, again, every episode gets better, and I am really, really loving it so far. And I will say the last thing, I was like, that's gonna be that. But the last thing I will say about Witch Watch is that, you know, of course there's, like, this could be romantic, but this is one of the shows that it's, like, so funny that, like, you don't care about the romance. You don't care about whatever possible romantic thing that's gonna happen. Like, the show is so funny, like, that doesn't even matter to me. And the OP just introduces so many characters. Like, I feel like there's a couple more magical people that are coming, and you're gonna be part of this little crew. I cannot wait for that to happen. But yes, Witch Watch, I'm loving it. It's going good. The last anime on my list to talk about today is Vigilantes. I'm loving Vigilantes. I am loving Vigilantes so much. So with Vigilantes, I had seen episodes 2 and 3. That's all that was available so far. I think a new episode comes out today. I am really, really, really loving the comic book feel of this story, from the OP to the actions, you know, the words that be coming across when certain things happen on the screen. I really felt conflicting emotions in both. Yeah, I think I have both episode 3 and 2 when the other pro heroes, the pro heroes show up. We have Mr. Eraserhead, you know, we see Endeavor, All Might in tip-top shape, because, again, this takes place pre the events My Hero Academia. So seeing everybody, spoiler alert, even seeing people that presumably passed away in My Hero Academia, it got me emotional. Especially, like, seeing Mr. Eraserhead. I love him so much. But seeing him, like, safe, unharmed, legs still intact. This hurts so much. I really, really am enjoying the ongoing conversation, the theme of the show, where it's like, you don't have to be a pro hero to act, but being a vigilante is against the law because you're not supposed to be taking the law into your own hands, even if you're doing the right thing. And not to like break the fourth wall, it feels very, very timely with the events and things happening in the United States of America right now. And, you know, things that are being done that are unlawful. And it's like, well, the laws, it doesn't matter. We can bust in and take you away, citizen, because you're brown and you went to a peaceful protest 6 months ago, and deport you and separate you from your family and friends. So yeah, so it that's all that I'll say about this. Like that specific part, it's not lost on me how timely this conversation is. And I know this was written a couple of years ago, but you know, as the older you get and you are tapped into many different sectors and things, it's like art imitates life, and it comments on these things. And it's very, you know, the contrast of this so far, these just first couple episodes of the Vigilantes versus the pro heroes, and, you know, the journey that Deku is on in My Hero Academia. It's very, you know, it's not lost on me. I'll say that. What I also wanted to talk about was the fact that people are just doing what they want to do regardless of their circumstances. So we have Pop Step being an idol, and she's like be having concerts randomly, which technically she's not allowed to do. And, you know, it just kind of goes up on social media, and she's like the social media celebrity idol person. And it is, I just love that she's like this high school girl. She's like, you know what, I'm going to be an idol. And then she does idol shit. Like, girl, she just show up and they be out here. They got the little outfits on and the light sticks. Like, she's doing it. And then you have Knuckle Dusters, who we learn is quirkless. And that was kind of, I was like, oh. And Missy Racehair is like, he's just a really strong person who is quirkless. I thought that was such a reveal, but then it shows you, like, you know, you can do the things that you want to do, even if there's like these limits set by society or the laws. You know, like Kochi, he isn't a pro hero, but he was out here doing the Mr. Nice Guy stuff. And they're like, hey, aren't you the guy who cleans up trash, Mr.? He's like, I'm the crawler. They're like, no, you are Mr. Nice Guy. And I'm also loving that vein of this story so far. And it's just, it is also, I feel like, such a needed message in times like this. Like, you might not be able to do things what you think you can do, but you can still do some things. So I am enjoying Vigilantes. It is really fun. Also, I just love how everybody got so cozy so quick. They're using Koichi's little apartment as a base. Pop Step is there getting ready, showing up without makeup and, you know, in her school uniform. Knuckle Dusters, do you have a home? Clearly not. You are just there drinking beer and taking up space. And can I just say, Knuckle Duster, sure, you fine. Like, he is fine. He is a grown man. Well, they call him an old man. He probably in his 40s. Like, he probably not even that old. He probably got 10 years on me. He's fine. And he doing man shit, quirkless. Is he crazy and reckless? Yes. Do we care? No, absolutely not. So, Vigilantes, another great anime for me. I'm just, I scared myself up with my little notes. I'm just really having fun so far. But yeah, this is the anime that I'm talking about this episode. I will be catching up on Kowloon Generic Romance. I will be catching up on that. The travel anime Journey one, catching up on that. And I'm trying to see what else I had that I talked about last episode. Yeah, that's Journey, Kowloon Generic Romance. Okay, those were the only two that I didn't get to catch up on for this week's episode. But by next week's episode, I will be caught up. And yeah, that's all that I had to talk about this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening to me. And I hope you enjoyed this episode on your feed. Like I said, stay tuned for the bonus episode about the Sailor Moon Super Live show that I will be having coming up. And also going to have a new YouTube video this week about a new Dawn May Friday installation. So thank you guys so much for watching this video or listening to the podcast on your podcast app. And I'll see you on the next show. Goodbye.